Right, welcome to Lockdown Workshop. What have we got today? God, look at the state of my, it's just raining outside and I've just got drowned. We've got a coffee machine. So if you've been watching the videos, you might have seen the coffee machine in the background, in the kitchenette area. This isn't it, but it's almost identical. It's a friend of ours, it's their coffee machine. I didn't realise, I've seen it loads of times when I've been to their house, I didn't realise how almost identical it was to ours. But it's significantly older. I think ours is 2020, 2021, this could be a good 4 or 5 years older than this. Ours has a milk retainer thing that you can put milk in, and then you just press a button and it just makes your drink with the milk and coffee and everything. It's bean to cup and milk to cup, all in one go, completely automated. Doesn't chill the milk, but you just pull the thing off and chuck it back in the fridge when you're not using it, in between cups, just to keep the milk fresh. This one's slightly different. I'll just spin it round. So everything here backwards is identical to mine. The control panel's identical, it's just a different colour, the buttons are in the same place. It does, actually no, that's not strictly true. It's got the same buttons, but they don't do the same thing. So when I press that button there, that's my Duplo button. And my OK button is also my hot water button up there, which is that one, so hot water and tea. Menu's in the same place, I'm just looking across. What do I have there? My long button's there. So they've got their Duplo there, where I've got cappuccino, I think. Long is, I think my long's over here, and then those two are the same, those two are the same. But you can almost bet that a lot of the circuit board's the same. This bit's identical, although it appears to be losing its chrome plating. This is the main difference. So on ours, I've got a little nozzle thing there, and I plug either a nozzle onto it that looks similar to something similar to that, maybe a bit shorter. I'm just looking across, chrome thing with a little nozzle, and that's where you get your hot water out of. Or that's where my milk container thing plugs in there, and you just fill it full of milk, and then the milk comes out of the side of it but into the cup at the same time, at the right time while it's making it. This one's different. This is a bit more like a barista machine. You push it up for milk, you pull it down for cappuccino, so that's the density of the foam. You basically put that in your cup of milk. You put your milk in first, put your cup of milk, put your milk in your cup, put your cup in there, wang it up there until it's frothed how you like it, take it down, put it in there, press the buttons for your thing, whatever it is you want, your coffee, your shot of coffee, and jobs are good, and you get it like that. Whereas I program my milk up here with my drink, so I'll say I want a latte, and it will dispense, it'll pump out the right amount of milk from there while it's frothing it into the cup and put the coffee in. Right, so, but it's everything back here that's the same as ours, and it's everything back here that's got the problem, not forwards. It appears to work. So the reported problem is it's not grinding, and it's coming up with an error. Now rather helpfully, they've left me some beans in there. Now even this bit looks the same. They've got it wanged right the way up to 7, which is the coarsest grain it does. So if you turn it down, it grinds it finer and finer and finer, to the point where it's such a fine grind that it can't push the steam through it. So you have to adjust this for the size of the bean and the coarseness of the grind that you want. You can tune that how you like as well, because the finer the grind, the more coffee creme, which is the sort of coffee frothy bit on the top, not milk. So if you're making a black Americano or a cappuccino, if it's made properly, barista coffee should have a layer of frothed coffee bean fat on the top. It's like a chocolatey colour. That's the fat out of the bean that's frothed as it's passed through the machine, and that's where you get the temperature, and the pressure has to be bang on right to get a perfect coffee chroma on top of your coffee. Check out the Coffee Snob. depending on how that's how you tune the fineness of your grind, as well as the temperature that you are percolating it at when it passes through the espresso part of it. So the problem with this one is apparently it comes up with an error that suggests that it's not grinding it correctly. Now the grinding unit is in here, and if you pull that apart and get it out, that's not the grinder unit, that's the filler unit. That drops down, the coffee goes in there after it's been ground and gets wanged up. Now this coffee machine will work, there's nothing to stop you lifting this little flap here and just putting ground coffee in there, and it will meter it. You put in what you want for a cup. If you fill it to the top, it will put all of that in your cup, right? So the problem here is somewhere around this bit, in the bit that does the grinding, before it puts it into that bit, which is the receiver, and then that goes up and presses it before it percolates it. Because if you see the water comes through the bottom of there. Now it could be that plate there is blocked. So before we touch anything, we're going to see how it works. I have a sneaky suspicion that it's trying to force it through here, and that plate might be blocked. Which I've never had a problem on mine, and mine gets used heavily, but Andrew's a bit of a can't function without coffee, lots of coffee, so I suspect his has had probably more use than mine. I'll be honest, I don't service mine anywhere near as regular as I should. So we'll just plug that in, nothing's exploded, it's turned on, we've got lights. So I do need some water in this for it to prime properly, so just bear with me while I don't look at my mucky kitchen. So you can see that one's almost identical, the same side of the box, everything back is the same, even the water fillers are the same. So even if this can't be fixed, I'm certainly keeping it for, unless Andrew wants it back, I'll keep it for spare parts for mine, because everything's usable. So we'll just turn it on now, see what it's doing. So let me spin it round so you can see. So we'll turn it on. So that's normal. It's now going through a heat cycle. It's warming everything up. When it's finished warming up, it will flush, just to make sure there's no crap or anything in case it was turned off. It'll flush it out. When you turn them off, they do the same thing. They do a flush cycle, but in case somebody just pulled the power out of it, it does a flush cycle when you first start it up as well. And it heats everything up. There's a plate up there that you put your cups on and things to keep your cups warm. It does sound like the pump's struggling, but I don't know how long it's been sat with no water in. So sometimes when they're completely empty, it does take a while to prime. You tend to get there also when you've had water circuit empty, full water circuit. So it might take a bit of prime in this one. Hot water, press OK. Right, so we're getting hot water now. You can see there's an air gap. So I think all that's happened here is the water's run out of it. Do that again, just give it a quick whiz through. Oh no, it's that one for hot water. It's up there on mine. So that water circuit's working alright, if nothing else. Let's just stop that. Right. See if we can recreate this problem. So we will, we can get a new one of them because that chrome looks awful. We will standard coffee, standard taste. So that means it's going to deliver a standard coffee, which it's barista coffee, barista measures. So it'll probably, if it's like mine, it'll be somewhere up to about there. And then the idea is you fill it up with hot water. If you want a cappuccino, you fill it up with frothed milk. So it's a standard measure of coffee. So we'll just give it a beans are going in. So I do wonder whether it's the beans as well that they're using. Right, so it's done that. Right, I can hear ground too fine. There's a blockage. Something's blocked. You can hear the prompts building up, pressure, it's not going through. That's got nothing to do with the coffee. So that's saying it's adjusting, it's grounding too fine. It is on the maximum unground. So I think that somewhere between the water, when it pushes it through, that receptor, there's a problem. So let me, right, see that does not look fine ground to me. You can't see that. Let's just tilt you down, I might be able to. Can you see that? I can't see what you can see. Let me have a look. Oh yeah, you can see that now. I'm trying to, right, that's not fine ground, right? That's a very, very coarse grind. It's just ejected it out. I think the problem is in that thing at the side. So we'll just put this back together. I think they've got something missing as well. There's supposed to be another tray there. So on mine, I have a little tray. I think they're missing that. I think they're supposed to have that in there. It's like kind of another catch-all drip tray, and that's missing. So I don't know where that is. They're also missing. There's supposed to be a red float thing on there as well. I noticed that's missing because that, when this gets full, that lifts up and tells you that this needs emptying. So I'm not entirely sure what's happening. I will ask about them. It might have ended up on the side and I've not realised what it belongs out of. So I've got some in mine. So if you look at mine, I've just realised I've been showing you all that other stuff and you're still pointing down. If you look at mine, you can see mine are a lot more finer ground. So there you go. So what I was saying while the camera was pointing down, there should be a red thing in there that sits over the top that's like an inverted cup, and when this gets full of water it comes up and it puts a red bar in there so you can see it's full, and there should be another little drip tray there as well that's missing. So we'll just turn this off and we'll tear into this thing here once it's finished. So you can't even flush it. It would normally be flushing out of there. So now we know there's something wrong with it. It's got nothing to do with the grinder. There's something wrong with the pump. It's blocked. So from somewhere, from the water intake to there, the pump's blocked. So I think the best thing we can do is start with the most obvious. The water has to pass through here. So we'll just check that. I don't think it'll work without this in, or actually, here's an idea. Why don't we take mine out and see if it still does it with mine in? Because I'm pretty sure that they are the same. Please don't look at mine, it's filthy. I've just realised how much mine needs cleaning. Yeah, they're exactly the same. Let's turn it on. Water circuit still thinks it's empty, but we know we've got water in the circuit because if I press this, Got water in the water circuit, come on. Yeah. So we know we've got water. So what this is telling me is the blockage might be, well it can't be, the pump's coming through, it's got to be, it's going through the water heater and it's coming out there, and the next place it goes if it doesn't come out of there is into the top of that coffee grounds thing. So it's either not passing through the coffee grounds thing or it's not even getting into the coffee grounds thing. So we'll try it again with mining and then see what it does. Go on, give me some water. Haha! That worked. So it's this, it's as I suspected, the block's in here. I bet that's blocked up. Let me just do the turn off routine, check it does the turn off. Cool. Right, we'll tear into that and clean that up. Right, so one of the things the coffee machine does when it's filled the coffee thing up is it drops down there and then the water hits the back of it. The water comes in down there, into there, and then it gets dropped into there's a thing that touches onto. So I think there's a water inlet nozzle there and a water outlet nozzle there. I think that's how it works. That could be blocked up. So that could be part of the problem. The coffee's obviously in there and then the water comes through. What I don't know is when this comes down, this thing hits that cam there that lifts that up, and it does look like it's in the up position, so that must be down at the point that it's making coffee. So the water's coming in the top, the coffee's at the bottom, and it's being forced through there. And then, so I don't know whether that's the inlet or the outlet there, but that's definitely the outlet. So I'm guessing that that might be it. So don't know, I am guessing. That could be the inlet for when it's just pushing water through and then the water comes straight through, because if I lift this up, lift that back up and I blow in through there, it comes straight out the bottom. When this is down in the position that it's in now, which is up there, and that's now down, I'm looking at the right one, yeah, that's blocked off. That doesn't come, so that one's blocked off, so that's blocking the water from up there, which now means that the water's coming in through the top possibly, and then that must be the water outlet down there. But I've no idea, to be honest. I can't see what it's doing. I kind of think it makes sense. The water's definitely got to come in the top and it can't come out there. When you're just making hot water and this is up like that, that lets it out. That's right, yeah, that lets it out through there, because it's coming through there, it's coming out of there and out of the water spout thing. When there's coffee in, that's down there, it blocks off that circuit, so the coffee's coming out of the bottom instead, I think, or something like that, don't know. We'll check this out and see if the blockage is in here. It could be that the blockage is still in there somewhere. It's stuck mid-cycle at the moment, so it won't let me do anything. It's asking me to close the door, so I'm assuming there's a pin somewhere that presses on something in here. Could be up there in one of those. Or it could be under there. Yeah, it knows I've closed the door now. Be interested to see where that ends up now, because that's stuck down there and it shouldn't be. Or maybe that only comes up when you turn it off. Don't know. Right, let's shut that off. So when it ejects the coffee, it comes up here. So I'm tipping that's got coffee in it now. So if we do a shutdown on that, that'll move that. See, I think that's moved that now. If I open, yeah, it has. It's moved it. It's disappeared all the way up there. Brought it back down again. So that's mine. We're going to put that somewhere safe. So that's safe. So what we've got to do now is work out whether the problem's in here somewhere, because obviously when this plugs in, it clips into that one there, which is the water in, because I can feel that's hot water. There's no other places for water to go. So I think that bit at the bottom must be a pressure relief thing. So the water comes in there. And when we're down, this isn't working. Oh, it is now. Just. Right, so I'm going to go and have a quick look on mine and see if mine's like that. No, mine's blocked. So that bit's normal. I think we've established it's got to be in this because it works. So I think all we do is we just tear into this and see if we can work out where the blockage is. I've just tasted some of that coffee. That's really nice coffee. Plus I haven't had any coffee today. Right. So Phillips, I don't think I've got any Phillips down here, so I'll just have a quick look in the. It's not strictly true actually. We've got a posi there. We've got a Phillips here. I've actually got a Phillips in this thing here, but it's a bit unwieldy. It won't do deep holes, but we'll. Is that a Phillips or a posi? I think that's a Phillips, that one. That's covered in plastic because I used it to drill an hole in the wall. Where do we want to start? I'm kind of inclined to think that most of the problem's got to be in this piece here, not in that bit there. At least we've got one to copy from. So I'm wondering whether this grill's blocked up. Oh yes, I think that grill's blocked up. Let's just take this side piece off so we can see what's going on. That coffee is really nice. Thank you, Emma and Andrew, for your coffee. I've got a feeling this is one of those things where you just know that a great portion of this is going to fly out with a whole load of parts that I'm never going to see again. Yeah, I think that's cool. I think that's attached to something else. Got these two here. I'm inclined to say it's just that, but I just want to make sure. Plus, I just like taking things to pieces, really. Yeah, so we need to make sure that that doesn't get out of index. So in theory I should be able to push this all the way out now. Is that all the way down? That's all the way down. That's pretty crappy in there. The plunger looks okay. See, I think that's the thing, that when it goes down it blocks that hole. What I can't see is how the coffee gets out. So I'm wondering whether there's a hole in the centre, but the coffee's got to get out of here somehow. And there is a hole at the bottom, and something that looks like it plugs into a lead, but I would have thought it would have been this here. No, not that one, this one. So there is something in there, I can't see it. Oh God, that is right, that was blocked. So there's a big chunk of crap in that hole there. So I think what's happened is the beans have been quite coarse, and I think one of them's actually jammed it up. So we're going to take this lot over to the sink, and I'm going to go and get my my Delongi cleaning equipment out. Right, we're over at the sink area. So somewhere in here, aha, I have a whole load of Delongi cleaning stuff. Delongi. That's what I was looking for. I think they're just Grosley's. Right, so first thing, let's just clean this up, because I think this is where the problem is. I think part of it's in here, because it must have to pass through here. I think even when this is down, it doesn't go down that far, so it's got to be passing. It's got to be passing through here somehow. I just don't know how. What I have got is I've got some food grade silicone that you're supposed to use on products like this to seal, so we can redo the seals. I still can't see where it comes out. So that's proper minging. Oh, this is running out of washing up this week. Oh, that's better. Now wondering whether I should be doing this to mine. Because there's a couple of times mine's blocked up and I've just turned the coarseness down. So I'm wondering whether actually mine started to go like this as well. not want to come off. It doesn't help that this sponge has seen better days. When Jacob comes in here and moans about it repeatedly. Doesn't go fetch me a new one though, but just moans about it repeatedly as kids do. Have kids, they said. It'll be fun, they said. Right. The good thing about this is, see, they give you this thing, you never really understand why they gave it you, because it's not that good for cleaning. But actually, this is what it's for cleaning for. Right, that's a lot cleaner now. So I can see. Right, that's poke that through. So we know there's definitely travel through there. Yeah, I'll get the rest of it over there. Of course, there's that bit I've now got to try and work out how to get on. See, that's got some of that food-based grease on it. So I think that looks like it's right. It's on the last ratchet, even though that did partially come out. I don't think it slipped a ratchet anywhere. I think we're all good with that. I think that should be exactly the same as the other one. Let's just clean that out because that looked a bit minging in there. That's the scraper that scrapes the coffee out. Bring out hot water. Right, that's looking alright. It's all clean. The bit I don't get is I still don't get how the coffee gets through. I'm wondering whether there's a hole there. Yeah, there is. There's a hole there and a hole there. So I think that's blocked. Yeah, that's blocked. I think there's a hole there and a hole there, and he presses it down and the coffee goes through there and out there. So I think that's blocked as well. I think that's been gradually building up on the back of that screen, and part of it's then made its way through into this here. So what we need is something to poke it out. So I might have to go play hunt for something pokey, and the light's actually, the light's not that brilliant, but oh, maybe it's not. Maybe I'm wrong. That doesn't feel like there's something to poke there, but there was definitely a hole on the side there. So that would make sense that hole there goes through to that hole there, but oh, it's a release valve. Right, there's a spring valve in there. Aha, he says. So that's a pressure valve, so that's what sets the pressure. So the coffee does come through there. So all we've got to do is just make sure that that's clean. Because again, that could be causing the problem. But if that screen was blocked, it wouldn't be able to get enough pressure to actually send it through there anyway. But that could be another problem. I just need something to press that down better than what I'm using. I think this is going to be too big. That appears to be okay. So I think we're all right now. I think we've cleaned all the crud out of that. There's no other holes unless that's a hole there. Nope. Nope. No, I think that's it. It's that there. So that means this must be 2 pieces that they've... But yeah, we're not getting into that. Let's see. Here we are. So we'll just get a little bit of this. One, two, same again. Make sure we don't get any of that in that little hole. So we have to be careful with this, because what we don't want is to block that hole up with some of this stuff. So just check my holes clear. Right. So that should go in like can't actually work out which way that's supposed to go in. Now, did that go in like that? So they're the 2. It must bite onto that. So that has to go all the way down. Right, there's definitely something coming out then, which there wasn't before. Right. Just need to bring that out slightly. Shove it back in again. Shove that lot back in. Right, I think we've cracked that bit. We just got to work out where that bit goes. Right, so back to the bench. Right, so we did have a panic moment when I was bringing the stuff across. I found that little piece of rubber, but I've had a look on the other one. It goes there. It just catches the retainer, so that's why this is all back to pieces again, because I didn't know if it had come out from inside here. So now we've let these go. Oh dear. Right, that can't go any further than that. I think that's it. I don't think it can go any further than that. That certainly can't go any further in than that. So that needs to just fit in there. Oops, no. Poke that one down a little bit. That's it. And oops, that's not worked. Let's go and compare this to the other one. I've let the gears get out of sync. So that's all the way down. Yeah, that looks about right. So maybe we were just one extra tooth out on this one. So better. So if we push it all the way down, should just be coming to the top, is just sort of fresh. Yep, that's it. What would I do without that? Right, so first things first, I think these are all the same. Let's bolt this back together. Remember, metal screws into plastic bodies. Keep turning it till you feel it drop in, and then it should be a nice smooth do-up. If it feels like it's tight, you're cutting a new thread. It means you've probably only got one more shot at that one before you end up stripping the threads out. That's it. I'm just going to put mine back in the machine before I get them mixed up. I'm going to be gutted if this doesn't work. Yep, I think that's working. It's not brilliant, it's still especially that area around there. I think I'm just going to take a bit more time just to give that a good clean. That's still quite blocked up. I've just noticed the camera's thing was flashing. So we've reassembled that. We had a few interesting bits in case you missed it where that was out of index and I had to get mine back out just to check that I've got them. And there was a spare piece of rubber that I found that turns out it belongs under there, and that's where that was from. We've resealed that with some of the silicone stuff. Everything's moving okay. I think we're ready. It looks exactly the same. The arms appear to be in the same position as mine. So we'll just stick it back in there and see if it works, but my battery's flat. Right, it's actually done alright, that battery, because I've done a bike vid before this. I've got plenty of water in there now then. I think it goes in like that. That way around. Right, close my door. Ooh. Let's turn her on. Coffee everywhere. Still some coffee in there that I didn't finish drinking. I had to go and get some food. I was starving. It's warming up now anyway. Well, that's promising because it didn't do that last time. So it's doing the rinse cycle, which it didn't do before. Right, we've got any beans. There's a few beans in there, they're very low on beans. Still beans juggling around. Be interesting to see what the last pat of coffee looks like when it comes out of here. That's assuming it works. We don't know if it's going to work yet. It's barely, I wonder if you can get a new one of them, won't I? Looking good. Right, so that's on 4, so that's quite low. Interesting to see what the coffee grounds look. Let's see what it's. It's got a reasonable coffee chroma on there. Yeah, that last one's a lot better. It's a lot more of a pat that's come through. I'll give it. Don't know if we've got any beans sitting there left in now. I think we're out of beans now. Let's grab an handful of my beans. Posh. Smells gorgeous. Just make sure we get in there. quite small beans as well, those. Try not to kick the camera. Spot on. See what that last batch of beans looks like. Oh yeah, now we've got a proper pat. Right, so it could be the beans they're using as well. But that came out as a proper nice little pat. Right, so I think that's mended. Hey, 1 for 1. I'm a bit like my mate Vince. So I know it's a bit different. Coffee machine. They're not cheap, these things either. But that's mended. So I'll let them know it's fixed and see what they want to do with it. I don't test the frother. It's can't be arsed, to be honest. But we could do. Should we froth? Don't know what I've got. I can froth in. Try frothing in this. It's a Milliband cup though, so it's probably not the cleverest thing to froth in. But this is different to ours, so I'll be interested to see how it works. So I've got some oat milk, because I have oat milk now, because I've turned into a Ponzi thing. You can get a barista version of this that's supposed to be better. So should we do hot milk or just a cappuccino? Steam prep. I've never done this on one of these, so I've got no instructions or anything that tell me how it works. Oh, actually, tell a lie, we have. We've got some instructions in-house. Come on, give me some steam. Hot milk. Oh. We used to have one like this, and there was a knack to getting it in the right place to get the maximum, to get the right foam. That's a double shot coffee with foam. Look at that. I was just looking for some sprinkles now. Not in any way sponsored by Starbucks, in the slightest. But cheers. Hope that was something different. And I like stuff like this because it's logic. So what I was being told, you've got to listen to what people are telling you because that's the history. But you've got to rely just as much on your signs and symptoms. Anybody who's done lifeguarding will know that your MPLQ, it's all history, signs and symptoms when you're treating a patient for first aid. So there's something what they're telling you, so that's their history, but then you've got to look at them and there's signs, which is what you see, and there's symptoms, which is what they're telling you that they feel as well. So the history and the symptoms on this were that there are problems with the grounds, and the information on the screen was certainly saying that the coffee was being ground too fine, but the signs that I was seeing, particularly when I was running on its clean cycle, didn't match that up, because when you're on the clean cycle there's no grounds in it, the coffee's not in it, and when you first turn it on the coffee's not in it. So it couldn't actually do its rinse cycle because it couldn't get the water through the system to rinse it. So there's obviously a problem, and it was either going to be in the very last bit as it comes out here, or the bit just before it goes into the where the coffee receptor is. Now, given that that coffee receptor is the same as mine, it was a logical thing just to go and test mine, but I could have just ripped straight into that, taken it to pieces. I would have seen it was clogged up. It's a very, think of it as like in your engine with a fine mesh filter. The fine mesh was just completely blocked up. So over time, less and less water was able to get through it, which is why they were able to crank it to looser and looser ground coffee, and obviously they were getting weaker and poorer quality coffee as a result of that. But as you do it slowly over time, you don't realise how bad it's got. Now I think mine's probably doing the same thing, because I think mine's heading towards 7 now, so I suspect mine's going to be the next one to be taken to pieces. So job's a good one with that. There you go, how to fix stuff. Mended.